All right, we are back. Welcome to another episode of SITREP, our NFT SITREP situation report. We have a conversation here as MetaVets, a group of veterans having a conversation about NFTs. Fun fact, crazy fact, I guess, of why we do what we do. I think it's a great day to talk NFTs. Not so much because we're so techie, because we get to hang out with our friends and have great conversations. And I think that's really the punchline in all of this, right? If you can get behind something, learn something new, have fun, invest, grow, have gains, suffer some losses together, kind of reminds us of kind of the military, right? Good times, the bad times, crazy places we've been to, coming together is really kind of what makes it for us. So that's really the takeaway for kind of why we do what we do. So this is MetaVets, our NFT situation report. So what we're looking at here is NFT SITREP. Again, SITREP being a military term for looking at a project and kind of going down into the who, what, why, when, where, of why, of what they do. So I am DP, Disabled Army Veteran. I am the founder of Veterans Network Champions Club, NFT aficionado, crypto aficionado, been in crypto since 2017, been in NFT since last year. I dabble in different forms of investing in technology, and our goal here is to break this down for the everyday person. Whether you're a veteran, whether you're not a veteran, doesn't matter. If you're somebody interested in the space, this is what the show is for. So feel free to join us. If you like this content, like, subscribe, follow, share, invite a friend. If you're on the live with us here, you'll be able to post questions. We'll do giveaways. If you're watching on the replay, still comment, still put some questions and answers, and we'll get back to you. I'll kick it over to my brother, Brian.
Hey, Brian here. Giannis73 is my handle. So if you see me in Discord, say hey, or in Twitter. Also disabled Army vet and part of Veterans Network. And been in NFTs like DP. I've been in NFTs since last year. I have not been in crypto nearly as long, though. I just started that probably at the beginning of last year. So a little bit longer in there. So I'm fresh in the experience, but excited about it. And that excitement translates into diving in and love being here with my battle buddies here. And we just like hanging out and letting you guys know about the lessons that we've learned and experiences that we have, and hopefully that we can help you along the way.
Sweet. Heading it over down south, going to my man, Gino.
Hello, everyone. Southern Heat 21. You might see me around in the Discords, roaming around. I'm a disabled veteran also. I've been in crypto for almost 2 years. I would say I've been in NFTs since, I think, August also. So, like the guy said, we're here to help and educate everybody as possible, much as possible, on our experience also, what we've done, what we've made mistakes on, and what not to do. Try to avoid doing things.
And because we're obviously talking NFTs and we're talking the metaverse, we're making that transition from Web 2 to Web 3. We have Rodimus live and in charge, coming at us from the metaverse. He may shapeshift. That's the power of Web3. So do not be alarmed. Your eyes are not playing tricks on you. He is our in the field correspondent of all things. So he's our advanced party finding out what's happening. So he reports back and gives us the intel on all the metaverse lands. Over to you, brother.
Yeah, thanks for that. I am a robot, and I am very tired. We were in Discord playing Rumble until 4:30 in the morning. Yeah, same thing. Everybody else said. Disabled robot here. Very new to this space, but we've been here about 6 months now in the NFT space. A lot of long days, but it's just having fun and having the same conversations that we would have with each other with you guys. So that's it.
Outstanding. We have some folks viewing, so if you're viewing, in the description you'll see there's a link in there for our YouTube channel. You'll be able to actually comment with us. So we're currently live streaming both on YouTube, 2 Facebook pages and groups, as well as LinkedIn. But to be able to have a conversation with us, YouTube tends to act a little bit more better, friendlier. You have to be signed into YouTube though, so sometimes that may be part of the issue for the live chat. So again, if you comment and you see that I'm not pulling it up, that might be it. So trying to reach folks where we have them in different places. We have Deborah here popping and saying good evening and hello. It seems that we have to be careful what we're saying because we also have Death Clutch is also in the building. So so we have the crew from Death Clutch as well. So we have some viewers. We're gonna go take a deep dive into the website, look at all that. But coming into who we're talking about today, the concept, the project that we're going to talk about is DeathKlutch NFT. As you look at the graphic, it's kind of cool, right? Smash, grab, and hodl. This is a project from Dave Merrell, who is a acclaimed commercial illustrator. He's an artist. He's done amazing things. We'll talk about a little bit of his work and be able to field some questions as well. So this is a project that has just come on the scene. So our full disclaimer that we have to try to get to the front because we're on record here, right? Is this is not financial advice. This is not something that you just go because, hey, we like it or we're invested in it or we think it's interesting. This is about information. So consider this a conversation with some folks that, have different varying degrees of experiences. And with that, make an informed decision or at least create the conversation or in question to be able to ask, this is something I want to do. This is a project I want to look into. Sometimes it becomes a lot of just shilling because there's a bag in place. No one's paying us for any of this stuff. We already have our whitelist, so it's not like I'm sitting here like, oh, I'm going to get something for doing this. Like, that's not the case. It's really about creating a conversation, Carmen, for our veterans. That's what this is about, right? So it's one of those things that I could show you better than I could tell you. So the people that we're partnering with, we want to support them, who want to see them be successful, but we want to give you all that information as well. So this is a brand new project that is just revealing. So there's a lot of mysterious things that we may be able to share today that you haven't seen. So there may be some sneak peeks, some giveaways, some prizes. So you may be on a whitelist. So breaking it down, as far as this is concerned, a whitelist for those that are new to the NFT space as a whole pretty much is guaranteeing you a spot to be able to actually mint the project. So in this specific project, we're calling it a death list. So when you're on the death list, what that means is you have a guaranteed spot to mint. So let's say there's only X amount that can be minted and double or triple the amount want that, you pretty much kind of have a reservation to be able to mint that. So it's kind of a big deal in the space. So different projects are calling it different things, but is being part of that private sale list, to kind of put it that way. Rod, you have something?
I was just saying, and again, just speaking in generalities, some projects now, they allow lists, white list, mint list, death list. Does not mean that you are guaranteed to mint either. It just means sometimes that you have the ability to. You'll see some NFT projects are going to kind of like the airplane method of doing white lists, right, where they kind of overbook. And sometimes that can go terrible. So, just because you have white lists, just make sure you look at the numbers, check it out to see, because it does not always guarantee you a mint.
That's a good point. We've actually seen that more recently. So historically, you were kind of guaranteed one. Now we're seeing that a lot of projects are hedging their bets by having more than expecting for folks to not mint, which then ends up being a situation where, oh crap, I couldn't mint. And we've seen some of that work against people. So yeah, definitely make a point to look into that. Some projects are very transparent to say, nope, we have 5,000 whitelists, you are going to be able to mint, and then we have 5,000 public. So to the detail part, do your due diligence. We'll also talk a little bit about that. But that's a great point for folks there. Let's see, we have some, and as you guys come on inside, say hello. Let us know if you're on, if you're new to NFTs, if you've been around NFTs, if this is your first foray into it or not. Let us know so we can go ahead and definitely give you a shout out. Say hello. If you're a veteran, say hey. So I'll give you a scrolling ticker at the bottom so you can kind of pop in there. But we have Carmen with us in the building. She is an amazing veteran photographer. Cool stuff. I'm super interested in this. Well, we're super happy that you're here. We have regular, not your regular, but regular veteran here. Yeah, I'm pumped about DeathKlutch. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see here. I have heard about it and not 100% what it's all about. What it's all about. Yeah, well, we're here. And that's what it comes down to. So before we do a quick jump, one of the things we're going to show you is the Discord. We're going to show you the website, Twitter handles, and so forth. And you hear us kind of really stop and do a lot of like stomping on the floor of paying attention to this. And that's because people are getting scammed, right? There's money transactions, things are happening, and we don't want you to do something wrong. So the first rule of thumb here, it's almost like a safety brief, right? Before we even start. 1, don't click on links. I am telling you that, for example, here we have DeathKlutch, right? Team in the background watching. They will not send you a message. DeathKlutch is not sending Carmen a message to say, hey Carmen, we're doing a secret launch just for you. You're not that special. No one knows who you are. And that's one of those things that people use sometimes, especially when projects are hyped or start getting attention, because that's just the nature of the beast. So scammers are going to scam. Don't look or click on any links. Direct messages, teams and projects will not do that. So definitely be very careful of that. So that's one of the things I want to definitely make sure that you are aware of, right? Don't click on links. Only click on links that are in the official pages, right? The official Twitter will have the link to the Discord. In the Discord, I'll show you the links you should be able to click. Any private message, anyone saying that they're me or they're any of our teammates or anybody else, we're not doing that. And sadly, because we're doing this, that starts to happen. Right now, all of a sudden, there's a veteran DP, but the E is a 3, and they're doing different things to be able to kind of portray themselves as us, and that's not the case. So we're never going to ask you for your private keys. No one will ever ask you for your private keys. There's no reason here to do that. So just be very aware of some of that. So that's some of the safety tips, fellas, before we kind of push forward. Any other safety tips to kind of get out?
Those are big ones. But yeah, just keep an eye out in the official channels. You'll see a lot of times official channels are going to be read only, so you're not going to be able to edit those and go in there and chat. So there's usually a section set aside, and like DP said, we'll be looking at that in this, what that looks like in the Death Clutch Discord specifically. But also, NFTs are not a guaranteed get rich quick scheme. So don't gamble with your money. Don't invest any more money than what you're willing to lose, and just realize that you need to do your own research to make sure that you are, you're doing your due diligence to make
Whoa, sure we got a high level alarm here. Oh snap, I sent my social to veteran DP. Appreciate the heck out of you guys in the warning. I had no idea scams were that intricate.
They are great.
but let's be realistic now, right? Someone, right, a year ago, almost shy of that, minted a picture of a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT for a few $100, and today the floor of that project is north of $200,000. So if you bought 3 of those, you do the math. So I said to say that like anything else, no one's paying attention to these things. Like back in the day, Discord, when we were in the beginning, you would just go in and you got a message and you were actually having a conversation with whoever it was. But then the news started saying, people went ahead and sold a 60 million thing and $1 million ape, and Justin Bieber bought that, and so forth and so on. And all of a sudden, people are like, wait a second. What's easier than pickpocketing over there? Pickpocketing over here. They did it with emails. They did it with Nigerian scams. Like, no matter what it is, people are going to find a way to do something. So the one part that's missing in the space is conversations of safety and security. We're going to do special shows just for that, to talk about wallets, how to use them, not just some damn tutorial, but like, look, you have to know how to do this. Because if not, I'm telling you, the worst thing in the world, what's even worse than the fact that Gino missed out on buying X NFT, is the fact that you bought X NFT, it went to the moon, and it was stolen from you. And you're sitting there literally gut punched. But again, to double down on what Rodimus said, not financial advice. Do not invest more than you're willing to lose. And the last point I'll say to that is, we're all in different social conditions. So what for someone might be feasible, it might not be feasible to somebody else. So don't put yourself at a disadvantage trying to keep up with anyone. It's online. You don't know people's situation. If you can only get one NFT, then get that one NFT and roll with it. And we'll talk about tactics and strategies, because we're all playing a different goal, but it's all for gains. No one's here to lose, but sadly too many lose. So with that being said and done, let's see. Carmen says this may be silly. We're going to talk about it. Death Clutch is an NFT. It's a project put together by an artist, and we're going to talk about it and share some things. Let's see here. Clemento is in the house here from Discord. Thank you for tuning on in. Appreciate you for joining us and being here. David Shaw said, hey guys, completely new to NFTs. Appreciate the walkthrough and tips. And my brother here, Glenn, kind of called it out, right? So, muster in true military fashion, it's when you're kind of really bringing something in and you're making sure it's fit for duty, right? So it's kind of like, hey, is this unit ready to go? Sergeant Major, we're good to ready to go. Boom, right? Everybody is good and accounted for. Fall in, etc. That's why you see Rodimus got the helmet on still, because it's go time. So let's go ahead and introduce who is Death Clutch. So let's take a trip over to Discord. So one of the things that you'll see is this is their Discord, right? So let's actually take a trip over here to their Twitter, which is the first thing we'll look at. Then we'll kind of go there. But one of the cool things with Death Clutch here, you kind of see what the art looks like as I'm going to start showing it to you. It's the work of Dave Merrell. His artwork, you'll see on his website. You see here it has his handle for Twitter. You can check him out as well. So when you do so, you'll be able to see his work. He's worked with the likes of UEFA, ESPN, Nike, CBS, and so forth. And you can see the background there. But literally all these amazing corporations that you may or may have not heard of. But the work of art, you can see here what it is. This is his page at davemerrell.com. You can kind of get a vibe for the type of art that he's done, his style for being able to put that together. So this is a little bit there. Again, we're not going to so much take a deep dive into the work he has, but this is to give you kind of a vibe for it, right? So now comes the project. It's like, you know what? I think this is something that he wants to move forward into. Here comes this now concept of Death Clutch. And to the question that came up here a few minutes ago, as far as what is this, the Carmen's question, we're all kind of finding out, because what we do know is this NFT showed up. We know it's Death Clutch, and we have been receiving a series of transmissions. And it's pretty cool because it's not something you often see in projects, right? It's fully developed and it comes to your face. And here you can go back, because again, we're talking about a few days here, right? So a lot of the stuff is just kind of coming together. So here is the teaser that actually Dave put the sound bed to. So I want y'all to hear it. Let me know if you can hear it when I play it here. Gang, let's see here. Okay, that's not coming through.
You broke it.
Yeah, I probably did. Let's see. Oh, I got a workaround. Don't worry about it.
Fly.
Let me go do some robot stuff to it.
Yeah, do some robots.
I know.
There we go.
I just like to be able to kind of have, like a sound bed that's really kind of and has that kind of vibe there. So that's how we were introduced to this, right? So that's the first thing, February 1st, right? So we're literally a few days in, and the first thing that came through is this. A proposal comes in from space. Your war is futile. You know that as much as I do. Lives have been lost and valuable machines have been destroyed. I can end the war, but I can begin it anew. If you're willing to play my game, I'm willing to bring peace to Earth. And that was the question. That's the transmission. So, and this becomes part of the lore, which is the story behind the project, right? So the NFT itself, yes, it's a non-fungible token that pretty much is coded with ownership. So you're going to be able to own the asset, whatever that asset may look like. We'll talk about that here in a second. But to be able to be brought along with the story, I think it's cool as it unfolds. So that's something different. Sometimes these things happen behind the scenes. So to be able to kind of be walked through the project as it's being developed, it's different, right? Some projects kind of show up and all the bells and whistles are there and it's just information overload. And right now, Carmen, to your point, and for those that are new, what I would say I like about this project, for someone who's new to the space, it's they're bringing you along for the ride. for someone who's used to running 100 miles an hour, it might be like, all right, come on, hurry up, hurry up. But I think there's something to be said about slowing it down and kind of really, letting it air out a little bit. So that's what's kind of cool here. So there's a series of transmissions, and if you're following along and you actually like their Twitter account, you'll find there are some pretty cool stuff. So I actually replied. So before we even got to this, of course, I literally write right here, and I'll zoom in for you all to see. I said, and my response to that thing I just read was, and so it begins, war or peace, question mark. A great quote from Joe Galloway: we who have seen war will never stop seeing it. In the silence of the night, we will always hear their screams. So this is our story, for we were soldiers once and young. So the movie We Were Soldiers, that's where that kind of comes from, Joe Galloway, that quote there. So I thought it was kind of fitting to kind of put it in there. And then a response came, which was kind of cool. So again, this is before we're even talking like this, but being able to just, as someone following along, to be able to interact and potentially have a message given to you, you don't really see that, right? It's just like, well, who am I to get a message back from, the commissioner who's sending these messages from space? Again, part of the lore, being involved, bringing people in from the outside, I think is cool. And you can kind of see there the message. So I'm not going to go into all of them, but just to kind of give you an introduction as to how we're discovering what Death Clutch is. So we know that this is a message that's happening. This is coming to us in the year 2072. So now we're in the future. Things are happening. This is kind of where we're at. I'm going to pause here for a second and then kind of kick it over here to the fellas. Some of your thoughts so far as to kind of who Death Clutch is, the project itself with Dave Merrell. Up to this point, what are some of your thoughts?
I'll hop in because I came in from a different path than you. I actually saw it. I think we came in at the same time, two different ways, which is always funny, because Chubby was the admin or mod over there is actually in IHOF with me and DP, which is another group. And I remember, I was just looking through the Shield post, and he's like, "Hey, come on over and join this group I'm starting." I remember looking at the post like, "Man, I gotta start a group." He's not in a group. And like I went over there, he was like, "Admin." I'm like, "Oh, you are in here." And so I just kind of stuck around from that point. Then like the same time DP came in later on that day. If anybody has seen any of our other shows, right, anything else we've done, everybody knows I'm really big into art, poster art, movie art. When I'm not in my robot form, there's a bunch of art surrounding me. So I really like Dave's stuff just from that point of view, and looking at, see, that's my brother. Hey, look at there, twinsies. But no, so I think the art is what kept me there. So what about you, Southern Heat?
All right, Mr. Robot. You guys told me about the project, but what caught my eye was that tweet, the transmission. It kind of reminded me of, I think, the old video game Splinter Cell, and I think that's the game I used to play when I was a kid in the '90s or whatever. But I remember in the game it used to have the transmissions and the messages, and that's what caught my eye. And I was like, man, this kind of reminds me of the game when I was a kid. The transmissions and the mission and what's going on, and that really caught my eyes because it's different than everything else. I usually get tweets, but I haven't got a transmission, in a project. So it just caught my eye. That's what initially caught my eye on this project.
Yeah, I'm kind of like you, Southern Heat. That I've been playing. I've been a gamer my whole life. Going back to the old Atari, right, and even before that, the arcades, right. This old school. See what the game I was associating it with, because I'm familiar with the Splinter Cell 2, but also the Fallout series. So that post-apocalyptic vibe, if you will. And so this is just that kind of a cool, this cool vibe, if you will, this cool presentation of an interaction with the NFT and with Dave and the team, and how these transmissions are we're receiving these communications from the commissioner. So it's really cool. I like that interaction. That engagement helps keep the enthusiasm higher. So that's always a positive thing, particularly when we're talking about an NFT space, which is known to be very fickle. If you're not keeping them engaged, they're gone. So that's cool.
And so for me, I'm not a gamer, right? So games don't do. I've never liked video games really. Like I'm one of those people that will play a game once and then it's like, all right, I've moved on. But I do like variety in things. So I really like to I want to pause on this because you get to see all of our different perspectives on things. When I look at NFTs, I look at variety, right? I look at different things. To me, I think today we call NFTs, but it's equivalent to saying, well, internet will change the world and internet will be a thing. And internet, nobody says internet now. You just have an Amazon app that happens around the internet, right? You happen to just order Uber Eats or DoorDash that happens around the internet, which is an app that runs on another thing, on another thing, on another thing. So the technology that we're looking at that moved from Web 2 to Web 3, right? Web 1 was, remember, right? America Online, dial-up, cool, and you just read a message board. Web 2, you began to... What was it?
What was that sound? I go. How the online sound go?
You go watching the replay. So you had that whole, first of all, we all had that whole little, and then your mom picked up the phone or somebody called, you got booted off. But Web 1 was information. Web 2 introduced this transaction conversation where now I can interact, I can buy things, I can post things, because before we just read things, we never actually really did much. So that's Web 1, then Web 2. Now in Web 3, enter ownership, enter having control of something, right? Everything we talk about, we don't like the fact that this company does this or that company does that or my data. Web 3 begins to solve some of those problems. So in this conversation, right, this concept, this project would be something that we would see as a regular game. But now the difference is, to Carmen's question, because we're looking at this from an NFT perspective, and I'm going forward, and I'm going to 72, I'm going to Rodimus' point, right, is as this develops, this is almost the foundation of what could become, let's say, a video game tomorrow or a series tomorrow. But the difference is this, right? Let's say, for argument's sake, that I own this NFT, right? And again, there's 3 different factions here that we'll see. So these are the clutchers. The clutchers are responsible for holding the clutch ball as long as possible. Select your strongest, biggest death lead from the remaining mankind. And they've been engineered. So you can kind of start reading that. So I'm not going to read all that, but you have the clutchers. You have here also the hawkers. Hawkers will be the only death leads with propulsion capabilities, allowing them to evade larger opponents with ease. You can read the rest. And then we have the clubbers, which will be the only death leads allowed to possess weapons, right? So now this whole match is happening. Now fast forward, let's say this all becomes a game that is played. In the past, we would buy a game, we'd play the game. But now imagine a world where you have ownership. Like, let's say this specific clubber is mine. I own it. It is my NFT. And tomorrow, Dave just happens to pull off a crazy partnership, and now there's a TV series. So let's put this in conversation we all know. Let's put today as the first day we're seeing this, like The Simpsons. And Rodimus owns the Homer character. And I own the Bart character. That's a different conversation now when you start looking at ownership of something that now goes mainstream. There's a show, royalties, all these different things. So that's not something we're used to. So in Web 3, there's ownership now. There's a collaborative going on. So Dave's not going out there saying, or projects, right? So that's what we're talking about, these projects. Because in the past, if this wanted to be done, you'd find investors, you'd get some seed capital to be able to start a project and do something and bring it to market. Well, now we are the investors, right? So that's why we're buying the NFTs. Because it's me saying, hey, Carmen, when I used to do this, right? And again, we'll talk about this in another point, but Dave had to pitch an idea, get an investor, get a sponsorship, whatever the case may be, like any other artist or any other concept, project, game, etc. But in this day now, they can say, hey, Maria, or hey, Carmen, or hey, Joe, would you like to invest into this project? And your investment in this project awards you an NFT. So we understand this from a stock perspective of I'm buying a stock into something. But it's not like a stock because you don't see a physical image of a stock. So in this capacity, the stock, right, my NFT now, my asset, my non-fungible asset, which is non-transferable, non-fungible, not the same, means I'm going to give now you this crypto, this Ethereum, and in return, you're going to give me now ownership of this. That's a transaction, right? I'm not just going to view this, I'm going to own this. This is my clubber as long as I own it. Now this show gets big and it's up there, right? It's on all the major whatever. I have ownership into that. And every time my character shows up, it's like my digital asset working for me, right? So this is way out there in the future, but this is the beginning concept. So consider this day one of The Simpsons being kind of drawn and put together. Like, okay, this is Homer. All right, this is Marge. But the difference is you have the potential to invest into this, not just as a passive investor, but an active investor. And Web3 enables this kind of relationship, if that makes sense, right? So again, real basic, not getting technical, but if you can understand that, that's where
Basic.
now. I'm sorry?
You said basic. You
No, I'm saying
explained
I'm
it
not
all.
going into I'm not going into an ERC 721 token. I'm not talking about the actual technical, techie language. I'm trying to equate it to things we know, because yes, it's not basic, but without getting into the techiness of it all is what I'm saying there. Rather, as far as trying to make it somewhat palpable for folks to kind of understand a little bit of why this is that way. Because once you kind of get that, replace this image with a music album. Carmen, you do photography. Same concept, right? Anything that you could put on the internet, how do you have ownership of it, right? So when someone says, well, Gino, I could just right click and save this picture. I can also go outside and take a picture of my neighbor's Tesla, or I can go down to New York City and take a picture of a Lamborghini on Fifth Avenue. That doesn't mean it's mine, right? I can go up to your house, take a picture of the house. I can't sell it. The difference is that this image has ownership and can be sold. Fellas, some thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, the ownership concept, and particularly as we all are moving towards the metaverse, it's a concept that's it's going to be pretty explosive. Like you said, there are already talks of in just different projects, right? So not specific, but these projects can do collaborative work with like Netflix. They can do it with gaming industry. Develop even within their own NFT. We've seen games being self-contained within an NFT. So it's going to be pretty cool. But this is going to become part of a larger story that's going to evolve and continue to expand. So just being at the ground level of this, it's going to be pretty cool to watch this explode.
Rod, you got anything on your side, brother?
Nah, I was good.
Give us if you need to give us some future beep boop beep boop beep boop talk, that's fine too.
Boy, nah, y'all went to the past. Y'all in the comments talking about Commodores and oh my God, you might as well bring out floppy disk.
Old school Nintendo disc.
Nah, I'm talking about 5.5.
So last point on that, because Brian did say, is for those watching, what's also unique here is the ability to add to the conversation. Now, just think of this, right? We're literally having a conversation about a project today that we're inviting you to, right? And again, there's no paid advertisement, endorsement. I like the project. I like what's happening. I want to support it, because we have the ability to be part of a conversation that, imagine if I invited you to day 5 of this concept that we might call The Simpsons or the Out of Towners or whatever the name we decide, right? So you have the ability to be part of this process, it's this journey, because not only do you own the NFT, but you can also have ideas, right? Like, hey, what about this? You know what I mean? And I think collaboratively, that's where this thing becomes more different now, because it's the community that owns it and the middleman goes away. So this is the basic concept of kind of what is Death Clutch. Again, that's why we're kind of breaking it down this way. But this is the Twitter page for those that are on Twitter. NFTs and crypto, it lives on Twitter. So just one of those things that you have to kind of get kind of used to. But I will say, this is where you want to go. The Discord link will be here. You have the ability to also go to the website. I mean, on Instagram, you'll see also here the different images there. But I really want to jump over now to Discord. Rob, before I kind of just show them the rundown, some thoughts on your side when it comes to Discord as we start to walk through here.
In general, or just this one?
Both.
I went blank. Sorry. So the same thing. Coming into a Discord channel, just like we discuss in pretty much every show. You always want to check the announcements. First thing, you're gonna have to verify in most servers, right? Hit your verification. There's usually some form of bot. A lot of the servers now have gotten away from like the Wick verification that would send you a DM, and a lot have gone to I can't think of what it's called.
Capture.
Yeah, the capture to go to log in and solve and do. So you'll usually have to do those in most servers when you come in. And then after that, like I said, good things to check is the announcements, official links, any facts, role information, and that's usually where I'll start any server.
One thing I would say is close the after you verify and go to the top and close the DM. That way you won't get direct messages. Private settings, privacy setting, or and close the DM. That way, because soon you get in some of these Discord, you're gonna get flooded, especially right before release. Basically, what we talked about earlier, they're gonna say, "Hey, you can mint here now at 0.08 price."
So again, just so folks see that. The minute you come into these servers, right now you see 600, 700 people. Some Discords have 60,000, some have 500. It's insane. And this thing can change very quickly. People can kind of flood these pages, etc. But you want to click on this. Everyone looks the same. You'll see the name, drop down, same on mobile. Click that little three dashes here to the top right of the name. Come to privacy to the point that we just said. And then here, right, allow direct messages or turn them off, right? So in my case, I had them on because I was having conversations, but pretty much allow server members to, nope, don't do that. If they're going to reach out to you, they'll make an announcement and make a point to say, hey, maybe you won something. So, hey, Carmen, turn on your DMs. We're gonna message you. You want a giveaway or something like that. But keep them off because you have bots just trying to spam and send messages and things like that. So that's one of the safety features for all activity that you do on Discord.
And then turn notifications to only yeah, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Turn notifications away from all messages. Some servers will have it set default to like only at messages, but some of them, if they're just kind of created and miss it, right? They leave on all, and when you pop in, so you'll start to get all the beeps as soon as you join in a server. So that's one to go and turn off too.
And if you're like most of us, you'll be in more than one. So on the left, it looks really organized because it's really not. These are actually folders with at least 20 or 30 in them each. So I break them down into sections of things I own, things I'm watching, projects, things whitelist, etc. So it's a whole process. We'll do like a Discord maintenance thing another day. But that being said and done, I really want to just focus that when you come in, again, you verify, check the announcements, scroll all the way up. Right? Again, this project just started, so you'll be able to see the same things we just showed you, right? The information there, welcome messages, kind of what's going on, what are some announcements. The real reason you also want to be careful with bigger projects with notification is some projects, they'll ping everyone all the time, and it becomes one of those things where your phone's just going off. Other projects reserve that for what's more important. Some projects also have categories. So, for example, in this Discord, you'll see the layout of the announcements. You'll see sneak peeks here, so they'll start sharing things. So, right, we start to see the different characters and different art, right, from the project being shared here. And then you'll see the roadmap. So the roadmap here will be put here. Again, this is all kind of coming out. So we're teasing out the characters. The roadmap will show you exactly how we're going to accomplish what we're going to accomplish, what the plan is. So that's here coming soon as well. So as all that starts to get put up, from what I understand, that'll be up here within the next few days. So we're kind of coming live with a lot of these things now, hence why we're having this conversation. You'll see information here for the death list. What is it? Same thing we just talked about. How can you get that? Giveaways, following, being interactive, being a part of the community. They can kind of support and reward rather those that are supporting. And you'll see here information on roles, information on the team, what they mean, the admins, those people that are MVPs. So these are the early folks there. So for example, because
MVP baby.
Yeah. So and we vote on this, like, hey, what do we want to be called? So now that's the MVPs. And the cool thing here is that opens up other channels. So because we're part of that MVP, role, this Hall of Fame channel opens up, and there's conversations that happen at that level. If you're admin, another channel opens up. So depending on what your role is, that'll open up conversations for you in those specific servers as a whole. So a lot of information here. Here's your press box where all the transmissions that are being, again, put on Twitter. So that's why Discord kind of has everything, right? Once you're in Discord, really, you'll see all the Twitter information here, any updates, all of it kind of lives in this space. And then the general chat is where you'll see us all kind of together having a conversation, and it's just back and forth. And you'll see things here like, hey, we're going live, right? Tune in, join us. Many of you are doing so right now. And you'll see us kind of going back and forth. And really, this is kind of what becomes the vibe of the project, being able to share, being able to talk. The reason that Rod is a little bit on the tired side is because we were literally up playing Rumble Royal and just kind of going through this process. And at some point, somebody hit me with a cucumber and a rock and killed me. So literally, that was yesterday's play, which was hilarious. So it's kind of cool because there's different things you can do. They can play games, different challenges, a sports channel. So fan art will be here too. So you want to be creative, you can kind of showcase some of that to be considered. But above all, like I said, just great information across the board. Just navigate it, ask questions, get involved, say hello. People are very welcoming, when you're coming into these spaces like this. So that's why I like the vibe that they have here. Brian, over to you. Some thoughts on overall your impression for the Discord and the vibe.
Yeah, no, it's and the structure and some of the behavior that you're going to see. There's some of these things that are pretty standard across most of these servers. The official links channels, the fan art, the general chat, if you get whitelisted, you might get access to unique channels. But this is the Death Clutch. I mean, we're talking about early days here. We're talking just starting this month, so we haven't even been into it for a full month. So it's still early days, still young. It's got a good vibe going. Very interactive, very supportive. It's always encouraging to see. You got Chubby in there, who's an admin running the show and making sure that things are running smoothly. You'll see Death Clutch himself, jump in there and interact. So it's great having that interaction, but others coming in and just having conversations. It's a good vibe, and so you can kind of get an idea. It's just like when you kind of walk around a room, right? You see these little pockets of people talking, and you might walk around and you'll check them out and see, this group over here is kind of fudding or complaining. This group over here is doing something else. So as you explore around, that's just kind of a natural thing that we look at. What kind of feeling does it give us? So the vibe in here is great. I love the games. The interactive opportunity. If I'm going to be exploring and discussing in Discord, having these games, they're great. And that also kind of gives you a flavor of just kind of what they might have in mind. If not directly related to the theme, it might, at least just kind of give you an idea of what kind of gaming framework or concept they might be playing with. So just fun stuff to interact, so I encourage people to get in and just get in there and chat and introduce yourself.
And one thing I will say is jumping into Discord, following on Twitter, it's all free. You're not paying for any of that, right? This is all literally just doing your fact finding. So this is also part of the process, right? So this show is also to be able to showcase, these are the things I look at, right? What's the community look like, right? There's something that Brian said, FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. In this space, that is a big thing. And it becomes just hate, right? My team is better than your team sucks because of this, or I missed the window, or I didn't buy into that, so I'm going to say all the things I want to say, because the fact of the matter is that the metaverse, Web3, NFTs, crypto, there's people behind it, and people are people. So the same things you see in the real world, you see it amplified here, in these spaces as well. So we have to also look at that side of things. So FUD, F-U-D, fear, uncertainty, and doubt is what you start putting in there. Like, oh, I don't know if they could deliver, or blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just, again, you do your due diligence. If you believe in the project and you're behind it, then you ride for your project. Keep that same energy, right? Don't get dissuaded because somebody else. If I believe that this company called, what's the fruit again? Apple, may do something great in the world, I'm going to stick with it, right? And fast forward, here we are. So that's one of the things that I really just wanted to also put out there. You're not paying for this, right? You're literally interacting with people. You're getting to know folks. You get a vibe of, hey, do I want to be part of this project? And that's not something you see in other spaces, right? When it comes to like, let me go hang out with Bitcoin. Let me hang out with Ethereum. No, You buy it or you don't buy it, right? There's no hangout time here, right? Whereas in this space, you're really more looking at a tribe, a community. So that's why you see people don their avatars, right? Our profile pictures, our usernames, right? They are the things that we own, that represent us. So that's part of it. As far as this space, so just to kind of bring you into the culture of what's happening, and what's cool about this is we're doxxed. So not a lot of people want to be out there and show who they are. So we're kind of bridging the real world and this space. So that kind of breaks down a little bit of the who, the what, the where, the when it's happening. That day is to be released. So again, we're very early. So the when is out there. But I have a sneak peek, and then we'll take some comments as well. So we have here a website that is coming online soon. So this landed on our radar. So this is a first for many folks who have not seen this. So now enter a website. So I love how this here has the whole kind of orb and the ball and all the graphics. Just I like it, right? So that's there. Here you're going to be able to kind of scroll down and see, the lore, what year is it, how did we get here, the transmissions, the unique athletes, deathletes rather, who they are, which we kind of talked a little bit about. So you kind of get a little bit of that, the roadmap, where we're going, kind of what the big picture is. Oh, can't show you too much. Look at that. I'm just going real quick right there. Don't take screenshots. And here you see the team again. Obviously this will all be shared, but the team is well behind their socials and whatnot. So we have our artistic art and creative genius here, Dave. We have project lead with Joey. We have Ernest in the house, Ryan, Wes, and Matt as well. A little Bullseum action there on the bottom right for you, Gino, so you can see that as well. So everybody you can see has like their avatar there as well. So that's kind of a vibe of kind of how things are going. So we're looking at season 1, season 2, season 3. Some things are coming. So what's going to happen over certain periods? I'll go ahead and give you, for example, a quick rundown of how to look at a roadmap, right? So again, this is not on Discord. This is hot off the presses, right? So, whoa. There's some philanthropic activities here, but you literally have here at 0% what's happening, right? We have minting that begins towards March time, so that kind of gives us a ballpark. There's conversations that we're working out that may be talked about as far as projects that like to support other projects, so that's something that may be coming. Whoop. Then we'll go over here and look at the 50% per point. So this is as the project sells out. So at the 0%, at the 25%, at the 50%, POAPs are going to be dropped to early minters for tokens 1 to 5,000. At 75%, there's a carbon offset mint via Aerials.is. At 100%, Legal Oxy countdown begins. So they're going to break down what all these things are hitting, but this kind of starts showing you once we get done with that, what starts happening, right? And then there's a potential... What's this? Something else coming down for free? Craziness. Let's jump on out of here. What are some initial thoughts? The team hasn't seen this. I had the website, but I wanted them to kind of see it the first time. Impressions, first time seeing it. Over to our robotic future friend.
Oh, yeah, it's me. Yeah. I gotta see it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I like the art already. I've already liked the art. I've seen the art. I want to look through the roadmap and see what that entails for sure. And I'm sure I'll be able to hear more in depth about it. But that's one of the things I like to look at. I like to see what the project is offering in terms of the future, right? For the holders. And to see kind of what that utility is or what it's not, right? If it's making a donation, is it a cause that I believe in or care about, right? So those are the things that I like to look at. But right now, I haven't seen it, but I am excited to go through.
Yeah. Gino, Brian, some thoughts on your side as far as just initial impressions, just seeing it for the first time?
Me?
Yeah, go ahead, Southern.
Oh, all right. So me just looking at the roadmap, yes, I like that. Like Ron has said, I want to see if they're donating to some charity. That, it helps, but it doesn't, make my final decision. But I love the roadmap, and I'll look more into it and deeper into it. You never know. This is in March, so a lot could change. You never know. We might get stuff added onto the roadmap because they might be working on things. So I will always check a roadmap over and over and announcements, because things do change and this space does move fast. So even though something's not on the roadmap, not right now, no telling who Death Clutch is talking to, and might get a partnership, and things might change on that road. Yes, I like it, and I'm sure more things are coming.
I bring up some comments here as well from the audience. So let's see. We have Kanga here, new to NFT and motivated to learn. Thank you for being and watching and tuning in with us as well. Let's see. So Nathan says, super cool. Hit us with a little domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. So that's, let's see here. Herschel's in the house saying, yo, thanks for tuning in. We got Golden Flav in the hizzy. Little dance action there. Back to the beep, boop, bop, click, click, beep, beep, beep. So there's that.
Yo.
To be honest, reminds me a little bit of Quidditch. A little comment there. Cool. Let's see here. And then Death Clutch confirms Fallout plus Quidditch plus Thunderdome equals Death Clutch. So some of the different ideas we've kind of been fielding around.
Welcome to Thunderdome.
Yeah. Regular veterans just like, oh snap. Let's see here, and we've answered some of these questions as we're going through, so I'm just bringing them up as well. Does Death Clutch NFT come with IP for owners to be capable of doing other things? We're going to get an answer for that too here shortly. The more I learn, the more I don't think my paintings can be an NFT. Negative, Ghost Rider. Pump the brakes. That's not at all the case. At all. Yep. So it's trust me, I'll show you some stuff where you'll be like, wait, what? like literally. I mean in a good way of saying like, oh snap. So art is a whole different thing. This is taking a different tone, from like a game perspective, and a realism art place. Let's see. But to the point, a regular veteran, anything can be a NFT. So that is true. Let's see here. True, has Fallout vibes. So some of the things that we've kind of been saying, kind of looking at things. Haven't seen Thunderform, unfortunately. Well, we got some time to kind of see that. And we did cover this here, so main venues for sure being Twitter Discord, Instagram. Let's see. Death Clutch here also answering some questions from the team. We want to allow holders to create their own teams, lore, etc. Death Clutch owns the right to the concept game and broader lore, but holders own the rights to PFP and character that they hold, right? And that usually is the case, right? So you have your character to be able to kind of take that, develop that idea as you want to add to it. Granted, the brand, the main itself won't, be given away, so the IP becomes kind of like to that, your specific asset, and that tends to be the norm there. Appreciate you, Joe, for tuning in here. Let's see, love. It's really cool that you're here dropping deets. Yeah, let's see here. Owning a Bart Simpson NFT doesn't mean yep. Let's see. Cool point here. Beautiful thing about NFTs and the metaverse is that storytelling can be collaborative. So in theory, you could create the Bart Simpson of the Death Clutch metaverse, and again, that becomes part of your character development for your own. And many projects have actually had a spin-off off the main projects for sure. Let's see here. So I want to bring in here, to get a little more kind of like of the, DP's talking, the team's talking, but let's bring in someone who may know a thing or two here about the project. Who do we have here? We know you by many names, but Charlie Maurice is in the building. What's up, my brother? Welcome to the show.
Hey.
What's up?
Hey, guys. Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, Chubby Maurice is where you'll find me on Discord and Twitter, but real name is Joe Tanner. So we're gonna fully dox the team, and you'll guys get to see my professional background as well. But yeah, Chubby Maurice is a long running name I've had ever since the Xbox gamer tag days.
Nice. So you have some real cool art behind you. So now, from your perspective, right? We covered a little bit of the who, what, where, when, and the why. That's kind of now where we're kicking off to you. Hopefully, we didn't bastardize too much of our assessment looking at something. But give us a little bit about what attracted you to the project, and then tell us a little bit about kind of to elaborate on some of the questions you've seen on YouTube. concerning kind of where we're at, but really what really brought you to it. Again, Rodimus saw you in IHOF. We kind of came at it from different places. Give us a little bit of kind of what's your interest to it, what really kind of excites you, because I think that's also cool. Like, we always get into the details of the project, but I really like the fact of saying, hey, what really attracted you, right? This is not your first rodeo, obviously. So what says, hey, I'm going to roll my sleeve up and kind of dig in here into this?
Yeah. So I've been working with Dave for about 5 years now. We come from so Dave's Commercial Illustrator. I found his work about 5 years ago because I run alternative movie poster commissions, which is a very small niche. And some of the things you'll see in the background here are actually Dave's work. Major League was the first one Major League was the first one that he worked on. And then Happy Gilmore was our most recent one. And we continue to work together on those. And so it's where we get a movie, we get a group of collectors within the alternative movie poster world together. And we have Dave produce the art, and then I get them screen printed and fulfilled. So, it's kind of a blend of, movie nerds plus art nerds. But then I got into NFTs last year as well, and Dave and I have been throwing around the idea of, trying to move into digital a little bit. And one thing Dave and I have always wanted to do is to build out an IP or a brand. So Dave is massively creative, as you guys see. And we've always wanted to build out a universe. And you guys have nailed a lot of our influence. We're Fallout fans, we're Harry Potter fans. We're also old school movie fans, 80s and 90s movies. So yeah, Thunderdome and some of the post-apocalyptic movies that we get influenced by. Yeah, so we've been working, towards this for about 6 months now. So although we just went public last week with a, launch in early March, we've been working towards this for 6 months with a team of professionals that we've known, all across. I come from a background in creative project management and digital marketing. And so we have digital marketing on board, we have finance on board. We have a developer who's been developing everything and anything he can since he was 12 years old. And so, yeah, we're going to fully dox and show our credentials because, although we don't own a Bored Ape or a CryptoPunk or something like that, we believe our professional credentials translate well to this space.
And this is part of what we talked about too, kind of in preparation for having this. Was like, hey, I think it'll be good to showcase this because again, you see projects, but you never really hear the why. And for me, that's a big thing, right? So if you're watching this and you see some of the previous work we've done, everything to me is always looking at what's behind it, right? What is the motivation, right? Like you bet on the jockey, not the horse type of thing, right? Like I look into the person, like do they have the heart to do this? And again, looking at the art that we saw, looking at the background, like all those things check out. But sometimes you want to kind of kick the tire a little bit, and take it for a test drive. And I think this is what this gives us, right? Because now, especially as we're starting to bring in, like, as you've seen, many of our viewers, whether again seeing it live or on the replay, you may be new to NFTs. And for those of us that have been in NFTs, it's kind of almost common and regular to not know who the mysterious creator is. But for people in the real world, like to know what they're doing, right? They'd like to put a name to a face and be able to say, okay, yes, I saw the interview, or I saw the live, or I see what you're doing. And that adds a little more of bringing it in mainstream, right? So part of the process here is also bridging the gap of if we want mainstream to come and we want folks to be able to be onboarded, well, we have to also acquiesce to the realities of life, which is people want to know, okay, what is this? Who is this? What is this project? Who are these people behind it? Great pictures, but do they run up and run, right? And to your point, the great thing I think you guys are bringing is also the real world experience of delivering on things, project management. There's a working relationship, not just two aficionados who just came up with an idea, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, we've been in projects, myself and some of the rest of the team who have unfortunately been in those situations where they were rug pulls or, at least they, didn't deliver on what they promised.
Real quickly, for those that don't know, I got to say, rug pull. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's something you thought was great, and they pull that rug from under you, and think cartoons, feet in the air, you got screwed.
Rug.
So again, we want to be able to bring you into the lingo of like, what's a rug pull? That means that you pretty much got bamboozled, hoodwinked, if you will, right?
Yep.
Flim flam.
Yep.
Flim flammed.
Yeah, so we want to do this all above board. So, we have an LLC that's formed with our company. Death Clutch is going to be a brand underneath our LLC. And that means we're going to have to pay taxes on this, and we're going to have to operate as a real company is operating. But all of us being professionals, being in the professional space, whether it be digital marketing or project management or have operated that way for 15, 20 plus years. I may look like I'm 25, but I'm much older than that. So yeah, so we want to operate.
We're on the other side right now. For example, Yanasa, he is literally 27, but he looks way older. It's a rough life. Being veterans is the opposite. What's your skincare routine? Napalm.
Napalm. Yeah. Forget oil of Olay, man. Camo and
no, you guys.
napalm.
Yeah, you guys are great, and being able to collaborate with you guys and share this information, it has been awesome. So, yeah, we're open to any questions you guys have. But to get on the why, to get to the why, it's because, Dave and I have this dream, and the project has this dream of, creating an IP and creating something. And, project manager, even Dave with his great artistic credentials, can't necessarily walk into a video game studio or a movie studio and say, hey, here's my IP, and they'll buy right into it. But NFTs and this space allows you to do that. So that's what we're passionate about and that's where the lore is coming in, and that's where all of the different transmissions are coming in, because we want to start building out this universe, and we want to create something that isn't just a one-time drop, a one-time cash grab. We want to create something that builds and continues to build. On the website, you'll see seasons 1 through 3, but we've talked about it and have plans for seasons 4 through 8 right now.
But I just want to stop you right there, brother, because there's something you just said. I think I just want people to just hear that again, right? In this space, general statement, right? Not a blanket statement, but a general statement is many people are promising to do something without ever have executed on that thing, right? If you've never been through the process of a project management cycle where you have a start, a middle, and a finish, and in between you have branch plans, again, military, we're going to accomplish a thing, but guess what, sir, right? Guess what, Commander so-and-so? Guess what, Colonel? We're going to have to go ahead and deviate because there's some resistance here. So we have a branch plan of what do we do now, right? We're going to do season 1, 2, 3, but guess what? There's a snag. So, bring out season 2 Alpha. Bring out season 2 Bravo, right? The branch plan option, if you've never been through that process, like all of us, the first time you've ever had to deal with a setback professionally, it's nerve-wracking, and obviously we push through. But now that we're bringing in investors potentially to this project or other projects, right, you want to know that whoever's at the helm has faced adversity, right? Y'all have worked together for more than a few weeks and a few months. So it's refreshing, right, to hear that this is months in the work. While we're seeing it being teased out, it's not like you're just writing the script right now. Like, all these assets are there, and you guys have pretty much the ideas all kind of planned out forward, but the way you're executing it really is showing that real world implementation into our space. So I really just wanted to focus on that, because you don't see a lot of that. There's a roadmap, and then it's like, well, how exactly are you going to do that? Like, really break it down to me, because I own a business, and if you're not telling me you're paying taxes and LLCs, how are we going to get a Netflix deal, right? How are we going to get a YouTube deal? Like, let's talk about those particulars that sound nebulous and not foreign. But I just have this breaking news that came in. It's crazy. I think I'm going to take a liberty real quick here and say, I think it'd be cool if we could just give like a whitelist out right now, to maybe the first person who finds and tells us what exactly is the title of transmission 007. I like James Bond. So the first person to find the title of transmission 007 could be on Twitter, could be on Instagram, maybe in the Discord. first person, we might be able to give them a whitelist. Maybe, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Just put it out there.
Yeah.
No, there's no planning here. We just kind of shoot it from the hip. So sorry, Dave. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah. And I'd say let's up the stakes there. So the first person to do that, we'll make sure they get a free mint when they.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a second. So you up the ante. So not only do you get a reserved list reservation to be able to mint something, you're saying you're going to get a free mint.
Oh, well, I got the answer.
No, you don't count.
I want a free mint. hey.
I think Joe's froze on his side. But yes, those are stakes. So transmission 007 maybe on the social media of Death Clutch by either way of Instagram or Twitter. So let's see some of those comments. We'll bring him back in here in a second. I think he just fell off. So that is the challenge.
Man, that's awesome, man. Because
free NFT.
Get on the bet list is nice, but getting access to a free mint, man, that's extra special.
He said free mint. They say cut the feed. Get him out of there.
Cut the feed.
Get him out of there. The free mint was too much.
The free mint was too much.
Get him out of there.
You know what? So you know what? When things like this happen, you gotta think to yourself, did the feed cut out, or did we just have the commissioner come in and say, you know what? We've been talking about this Dave Merrell guy. Let's just bring him on real quick himself. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Dave with us as well. So we're not just here talking about stuff. We're bringing him into the mix. Crazy transitions. We're in the future. We're in the past. We're here. Apparently, we just gave away a free mint, and we have some whitelist going on. Welcome to the show, my brother. We'll bring Joey back here in a second when he kind of gets back in. But please feel free to introduce yourself and kind of say hello to the people.
Hello, I'm Dave Merrell. You can see me on Twitter at Dave Merrell. I'm at Dave Merrell on the Discord as well. I'm a commercial illustrator. I think you guys have said a lot, actually, about what I do. I don't know what else there's to say.
So you're saying we didn't completely bastardize it? That's the point.
No, you did me favours. No, so I'm a commercial illustrator. I work in sport and the entertainment industries, and like Joey said, I do posters. I've worked with him for 5 years. I've worked in the sports illustration side for what are we in 2022, nearly 10 years.
So it's not your first rodeo doing this by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I mean before I did the sports illustration, I used to work at a toy company, so I came up with brand ideas there. And they took my ideas and they made them into toys, and then they were sold to Amazon and whereabouts.
We did show your website again for those for folks that are watching again, just to kind of get a vibe and a feel for your work. Let me bring you over here. Again, we've seen some of these things. I think it's amazing being able to see some of this and then being able to kind of bridge now, like apparently you must love what you do, obviously, right? So that kind of goes into the why of like, let's see what else would be interesting, but being able to take this beyond the where you're at. So one question as you kind of continue in your train of thought there really becomes, because you have such an extensive experience in your background, right? You understand kind of how business works and pitching ideas and all of that construct. And for all intents and purposes, when we start to introduce now the concept of NFTs, it throws that entire process on its head. It's all backwards. It's all different. It doesn't conform to the regular, flow of work that you're used to artistically. So what of that was kind of attractive to you, because it really puts the people now as your audience, right, in to share that process and also be in command and power and benefit from some of that.
It's wide open, isn't it? And it's in the NFT world, it's absolutely wide open. And the fact that I saw these randomizers becoming popular appealed to me, because like I said, I worked at a toy company, and one of the toys that I created was very similar to these randomizers. It's these little preschool figures you could take apart and take the arms off and the legs. You could swap them about with each other, and you could do that with the vehicles. So it's very similar to that. So I wanted to. That's why the randomizers appealed to me. But I saw that a lot of them were like on a 3/4 view. You know, like the Bored Ape and the lions, and I mean, a lot of them are on like a 3/4 view. So I wanted to do like a head-on view, and not just have like the shoulders in. I wanted to bring something else. So have it waist. So bring something new to the table, and then we thought of at the beginning. We thought when I approached Joey about the idea. We were first of all, we were talking about the kiddos on my website, which were those cutesy pop culture type characters, and see how we could make them into NFTs before Death Clutch.
And you literally see here we have Rodimus giving you the whole robot experience. Again, our correspondent from the metaverse, he wants to show his whole body, literally as you said that.
Body. I was more than 3
legs as well.
Right, and again, I'm by no shape or fashion at all, an artist. But I'll say that the minute you begin to add in all those other pieces, that further complicates the art and the process, right? It's not, and again, I'm not taking away, but a shot of a bust, right, from the chest up, which we see with a lot of NFTs. It's fine, but the minute you start incorporating now of the full rendering of the body, right now, a lot of things come into play, right? You have hands, you have feet, you have color palettes, all these differences that are there. So from the artistic side, I would assume, right, it's way more intensive to be able to create a collection that houses just more than a headshot. Again, not taking away from anyone. It's just you're taking a whole different approach, kind of going to the full body piece, correct?
And 3 different positions as well. So
you just like a challenge, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I just make more work for myself. But the bodies took a lot longer than the heads.
Wow.
There's more features on the heads to be mucked around with.
Yes.
With the traits. Now I didn't know how these NFTs were put together, so I've put these together how I think would work best. So whether it's I think it's untraditional the way it's done, but it just makes it different again, and hopefully makes it stand out from the rest.
Yeah. So Rod has had a question he wanted to ask as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I got some questions and I'm gonna skate on out. You guys kept me up past my bedtime. Like I said, I'm a big art fan. Recent big art fan, and I've kind of dove head first in. Even going through your page, a lot of your stuff is really great, man. I watched some of the videos you did of showing how you drew your references and did stuff for your art, but and even with the other project, which I'm gonna say, like a lot of your projects seem to be like just kind of like real people, right, in real situation. I love the Wrestling Legends one. I was trying to figure out why Mike Tyson was there, though. I had a question about that, but I love the series, right? I love the set. But with that, this being so different from that, right? And I guess it answered it when you said you worked at a toy factory. So, but why? I was going to say, why robots? Why these the Death Clutches? Why was that kind of the mode? It seemed really different from your art, but I'm guessing that experience kind of came from that toy history that you had.
Yeah, but I mean, it goes into nostalgia again. I mean, I think you guys have said it, all the video games and the movies, and there's loads of references in the artwork from that sort of era, like Speedball 2. I don't know if you remember Speedball 2. No,
not at all.
That's too early. Fallout, definitely. A big fan of Fallout, and anything post-apocalyptic and dystopian, really, I'm a big fan of. So I wanted to bring all that into this IP that we've created with Joey and the rest of the team. So it's yeah. trying to get everything that I love into the IP. But
Awesome.
what's exciting about it is it can go anywhere in any direction, wherever we want.
And I think
And
that's
that's that.
something that I looked at when we looked at some of the kind of how we look at this, because for you, right, you're a professional. You do this. You get commissioned. There's concepts and ideas that are presented to you. So to that same question, to kind of piggyback, what does it mean to you to be able to have complete control of your process now, right? Because it's different when it's like, hey, I want to commission you for this project, or we're going to do this campaign or this thing, and you do what you do and you have skills. But to your point, what does it mean to you to be able to have complete artistic liberty and do something that's just completely different? Because that's kind of the point, right? Like when Rodimus looks at it, sees your work, it's just like, wow, compared to that, why was Robot the thing, right? And when I looked at it, I'm thinking to myself, like, if I had the freedom to do something, I'm doing something completely different that just is not what maybe, ESPN might have commissioned me for. So that's kind of, some of the thought process there. But I really want to hear from you, like, what does it mean? Well, one, is that accurate to your reality to be able to tap into that? But again, having that freedom, because I want also for people seeing this who are artists or are thinking of doing this, what that means for an artist, which sometimes you're subjected to be able to just, it's a job, right? No matter you're passionate for art, when it's a job, right? You do perform, you're commissioned, you do what you must do, the requirements, your stakeholders. But here you have complete autonomy to take us on this journey with you and just let creativity mash it to what it want to be. Can you kind of expand on that, what that means to you? Because I think that would be really good to hear from this side of the house.
It's refreshing in a way, because obviously you can take it in whatever direction you want to go. And as we go along, we keep coming up with ideas. Like, why don't we put this in, and why don't we put that? Why don't we have? I came up with the tagline just one night as I was doing the reveal. The reveal video that you saw with the smoke. I came up with the tagline as I was doing that. It wasn't like a preconceived idea. So I just ran it by Joey, and I said, like, what about? I've been thinking about a tagline. What about smash and grab, or smash, grab, hold? And then he said, well, why don't we do hodl? Because that means hold on for dear life. And it all relates to the brand as well. So we're just like, that's it. So it's things like that you can just come up with and then just put them in whenever you want. But also on the flip side, it's also quite daunting in case it all goes wrong. And it's your fault.
This is literally like Back to the Future, right? Like, where we're going, there are no roads, right? There's no playbook
exactly.
in any of this. It's even to your point, like you said, right? Well, this is not how most collections get put together. There's no playbook in any of this stuff, right? Ultimately, the market is the market is the market, and the market decides. And that's why I think even these type of questions, to be able to see the passion of, this is not just a one-off. This is not a money grab. This is not just, a quick flim flam to be able to just get someone to buy something, and then off goes these folks that we never heard of again. Rod, I think you had another one before you get called to, your intergalactic meetings.
Yeah, called to the bed. I'm going to sleep. Nah, but it tied in pretty much to your question. Again, just being in this space for you, Dave, we've seen a lot of like kind of physical artists come into this space, right? And we've seen some where their community is not as receptive to digital art, right? Like, like the Obey community in the early days of that Discord. It was a big kind of divide between people that own Shepherd's real prints and people that were trying to buy like NFTs, right? And like that,
okay.
It just did not get along. Even you could see the divide like in the Discord, right? And then you get to some of these other artists, and that they try to bridge that gap, right, between their physical art and the digital art. But in your case, it seems like you went in a whole different direction than your normal stuff. Was that kind of planned for, or have you seen any resistance to your fans like coming over, right? Like I seen you had your own Facebook group and stuff like that, right? Have you seen anything?
I've not seen anything real. I've had a few comments saying, "Oh right, so you're going over to the NFT side, are you?" And I'm not really. I'm still doing all my sports stuff and doing all my film posters, but I'm also doing this because, like Joey said, we've always wanted to come up with an IP and try and take it as far as we can do. But it doesn't mean I'm stopping everything else. I mean, I can straddle both universes.
He say struggle both.
Straddled. Yep, that's
Right,
awesome.
boy. Yeah, boy. Okay, all right, thanks, man. That's it. I'm out of questions.
Cool.
Let's see here. I think we got Joey coming back here in a second. And we actually do have a winner, so I want to just give a quick verification jump over here. So we asked the question of which was transmission number 7007, and we have an answer. The answer was League Oxy. League Oxy is the answer brought by Kenga, and to be able to verify that again, that is on all the social media channels that we were just talking about, but to show it here as well, here you will see 007 is League Oxy, so we have that there as one of our winners of the free mint there. So let's give a hand of applause there and congratulations. Let's see here, and let's bring up
That's just me. Go ahead, send it to me. My wallet. I'll send it in. That's my alt account. That's how I win whitelist.
So I'm gonna bring Joey in here real quick. So I think, let's see, Rod's stepping down to the audience, and we're bringing Joey in for a second. Let's see.
So how long have you been thinking about this, Dave?
Well, I approached Joey when I said I approached him about the kiddos. That was pre-COVID, so it's like beginning of 2020.
Okay.
So and then we ditched that idea because it was taking too long because I had other projects on, and we just had another chat over Facebook Messenger, and just culminated this idea, and decided to go with it. Because I think when you conceive an idea and you get really hyped about it and you get really excited, I think you know you're onto something. And we were like two kids on Christmas Eve while we were talking about it. So yeah, we just took it from there, and it's just evolved into what it is today, really.
That's awesome. Oh, here he comes.
So Joey, so some of your thoughts on anything that you might want to add, since you kind of were seeing some of the things we were talking about, but we kind of hear a little bit of kind of your why, hearing Dave's why, that kind of really gives us some there. We did give a shout out to Kenga, who did find the answer for us. But I guess to both of you, one quick simple question. We got a little bit again of the who, the what, the where, right? The when we talked about, the why we talked about, but really, what would be just your ultimate why Death Clutch, right? So we've seen all that, and it's like, okay, now, we have to ask a question, right? So someone may be out there watching is saying, is this the NFT for me, right? They're having, hopefully, information today to make an informed decision. But what would you say is your kind of like elevator pitch of just kind of like what you see, bigger picture of why they should potentially, take this journey? Again, not construed as financial advice, but like anything else, like, hey, why this one over that one? What to use is like, hey, this is kind of cool if you guys, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so want to make sure you guys can hear me all right. So give me a thumbs up. Okay, cool. Just because I'm hearing you guys like you're all chipmunks for some reason. So, and I know you guys sound a lot tougher than chipmunks, so no offense there. So the ultimate why is because what we're gonna show, or what you showed on the website, cool thing we're hoping to do here for the community is the 2-for-1 we're really going to do. Like I said, the League Oxy art is pretty much done. We'll be teasing that as we get closer to launch. And so then you'll have the humans, and I think it was Rhodamesk who said asked, how is Dave, translated to robots, I think you're going to see how he translates to humans within this world. So they all have their own stylized nature and characterization, kind of, when you see something that is from the Fallout universe, it's from Fallout because the way the characters look and things are blended together. And I think Dave's done that beautifully here. So even though you know what the League Machina looks like now, when you see League Oxy, you'll be like, oh yeah, these guys live in the same universe together. And like I said, big reveal here is 21 days after we sell out, you'll be able to mint League Oxy for free. So if you mint League Machina, if you mint 5 of those, then 21 days later, you're going to be able to mint League Oxy for free. So that was the first thing we wanted to do to show that we're serious about delivering here. Because oftentimes what you get is hey, after initial project sells out, then we're going to start talking about and figuring out how we're going to deliver sometime in the future. So we're delivering immediately. 21 days, I know in the NFT space seems like forever. But
84 years ago, we saw this thing.
Because we have a lot to. Sorry if you guys can't hear me. Like I said, you're all chipmunks right now.
We're good. So, you're good.
So we want to deliver, and then that's not even the utility portion. That's just kind of the lore and the story building and the different collections that we're going to have. Dave said we can take it anywhere, and we have ideas. Whether it's an alien invasion or something crazy that happens within the universe. That pulls different characters or different types into it. We have all of that kind of planned out and a rough sketch of where we want to go. And season 3 hints to it, when you guys see the, human plus robot equals what, you can kind of get a sense of where we're going there. But yeah, I think the ultimate why is we have this big plan. It's really ambitious, but at the same time,
but I like that
structured.
But
I hopefully support it.
But if I could interject, Dave and Joe here, I think that's something that I really want to stress to folks watching this, again, whether live or on the replay. For those of us who've been in this space, we can complain about a lot of things and say, this just couldn't deliver, or that was not a carry-on. So all the things that we gripe about, right, it's akin to a restaurant, right? If only, Dave, we had a restaurant with some good old food, like old-fashioned, just, good cooking. And then a restaurant opens. And what do? We keep going to McDonald's. We keep going to the same cheap thrills. So I would really just kind of add this perspective to say you're seeing the language, season 1, season 2, season 3. Not just, hey, we did a thing, we struck gold, and maybe we can replicate success, right? If you understand how to get to success, you can replicate the process, right? So enter the language, right? So those are some key things I look at, right? What's that roadmap look like? Is it just really vague? Because, again, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. Right? At the end of the day, if you've been in business and you understand things, what is the project? What are we doing here? Where are we focusing things? So when you start to see some of those key words, they kind of ring to me loud and clear of like, wait a second, what comprises the season? So that to me is like, without having to give out the whole kit and caboodle, start to really, solidify the mindset behind. So I really just want to offer rather, or put out there for those watching this, if you are disappointed, want more of projects, well then ask, demand. Part of this process too is to be able to say, I like this, hey Dave, have you ever thought about that? And you'd be surprised. You never know if an idea can become part of the lore of the big conversation. But more so, let us go from being consumers to really embracing Web3, right? And what I mean by that is, if we're going to talk Web3 and we're going to talk about asset ownership and being part of the journey, then we have to move from a mindset of being consumers, which look at quick flips. I bought a card and I flipped it for a profit. I bought this painting and I flipped it for a profit. Nothing wrong with that. It's part of the space. But if we want more, we have to move into a place of being a creator. And when you're a creator, things look very different from being a consumer. So the journey to Web3 is not only for the artist out there who's watching this of like, man, could I do what Dave is doing one day, right? Can two friends come up with an idea and create something like we're seeing here, right? With your background and your acumen. But really from the audience perspective, look for projects, look for teams that are speaking your language that you can potentially be able to support and enable. Not something that you just want to be a part of to potentially get some financial return, because this is part of the move from consumerism to being a creator, right? Dave, I love this project and I minted this thing and I got the second season. I'm on the third one now. And fast forward, things begin to potentially hit it off, but I'm part of that journey, which means I'm not just consuming and owning to flip a thing. Again, all situations are different. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Your life dictates what you must do. But I really just want to challenge us in the space to also mature, because Web3 means we have to think things differently. We have to look at things differently and not just say, I just bought and flipped. Again, there's time and places for that. That's fine. But if we're going to say, I want to be a part of this, or I believe in said project, or I want to have ownership and potentially tomorrow have utility for that in ways yet to be designed and developed, then that requires a different perspective. So we want to find cook meal. We want projects that talk like this. We want projects that dox themselves. Well, then come support the projects when they do that. Because what happens is then you go for the cheap thrills because some influencer goes, hey, there's project over here, and then it's a pump and dump. Right? Like at some point, when do we grow something and move away from the pump and dump? Oh, let's get this influencer. Let's just build something. Right? Literally. So I just really want to just say that because, it's great that you guys are here joining us talking about this, but the challenge also goes to those that are joining us in this journey. Right? I have to come at this differently. And maybe I'm way ahead of where we're at today, but we'll never get to where we're going to get to unless we start having this conversation today. Again, you must do what you must do for yourself. This is not a ding on having to sell for a profit if you must do so. This is not a paper hand or diamond hand conversation. No, it's about saying, if I'm a part of this process here, what can I bring to the conversation? I have the ability to use my platform to have this conversation. So what do I bring to this conversation? This conversation. Everybody can bring something to it. And that's really what I wanted to just emphasize on. Again, I want a good home cooked meal. Well, then give that business to that business, right? Support these NFTs, because if not, they're ideas that don't go anywhere. Some thoughts on that real quick, or Brian, as far as sometimes we're veterans. We tend to kind of have a little soapbox moment. listen here.
Yeah.
Right,
I think ultimately we're trying to put a real face, real people behind this, because we really care about it. And I think one of the benefits of Web3 is the anonymization side of it, but that's also one of the downsides. Is because people, we have bad actors. We have people with nefarious intentions here. And it could be somebody who minted a Bored Ape very early on, or it could be somebody who's just getting in for a cash grab right now. And so I would encourage people, do two things. You want to make sure the team you're supporting is doxed. They have professional credentials beyond just their metaverse or their Web3 credentials. And then you also want to make sure they're open to feedback. So we have a suggestion channel, to the point, we have a couple of trait suggestion channels, because Dave, his ideas are brilliant, and he's coming up with, we had teased or shown, I think he called it a meteor lamp, which was kind of a lava lamp with meteors in it, and this idea of the machines are kind of grabbing scraps around the world to make their bodies out of, or their head elements. But we want to hear from you guys. So throw suggestions in, whether it's like, hey, it would be really cool if a machine looked like this, or even broader, as we roll out utility and we roll out the rest of the roadmap, which we're working on this week, is getting that public. Want to hear you guys feedback on how you want to interact with it and what you think would be beneficial. We have other plans for giveaways of the transmissions. We're looking into POAPs to do some fun gamification of everything too. So we have a lot planned and a lot that hasn't been released yet, but we're always open to feedback. feedback, and we always want suggestions because we think some great suggestions are going to come from the community, and we want to run with them and integrate it into, this bigger world. To use the Simpsons example that came up in chat and that you brought up, DP, it's like, yeah, what if you could create the Bart Simpson of Death Clutch, and then you get to own that character and you get to, own the storyline behind it. So the collaborative approach we're taking to storytelling here, Dave is the mastermind behind kind of the universe, but the cool thing is that this is going to shift and change as we grow, as we have ideas, as you guys have ideas. Yeah, we're pretty ambitious about it, and would love to get to a place where, this is, our full-time job, and this is what we're doing, is we are creating Death Clutch full-time. And, I feel like we've gone from 0 to 60 pretty quick here, but we would love to go, from 0 to 1,000 and really, ramp this up if we get the support we need.
I'm going to shoot over to Gino for a quick question. We did do a quick giveaway. A little birdie told me that Dave might feel a little benevolent and give something else away. I don't know what it may be, but I'll say that while Gino asks here a question, I want to find out, scavenger hunt style. Somewhere on Dave's website, to the bottom left, there's a word with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters. What is that word on that website? To the bottom left. What is the word on that bottom tile? Over to you, Gino.
Hello, Chubb and Dave. Thanks for being here with us today. I really just had one question, and I go to a lot of Discords, and I talk to people, and I have a whole bunch of Discords, and I just get a feel every day what's going on, because the NFT space is always changing. It's always changing. One thing I've noticed, and your Discord is very new, and I'm going to shield the project because I'm trying to get people. I will try to get people over and get to relax and enjoy the Discord before it gets real busy. Because when the Discord gets big, it's kind of hard. I always tell people, go in the Discord and try to enjoy themselves, have conversations, interact with people. Don't just spam a Discord. Go in there and actually have conversations. Do you plan to do any collabs? I've noticed that's kind of been a big thing lately, collabs. And I know you're a docs team. And if you do collabs, are you going to do it with docs team? People, they're showing their faces, are projects that's already, holding stable and are very good right now, in a good place. But the biggest question is, do you plan to have collaborations?
We have talked about it, haven't we, Joey?
Yeah, so I'm going to be honest. You were in full chipmunk mode there, so I got very little. And so I don't know if Dave can't take that question. I can, if you want to type in the chat, I can answer here. I have no idea what's going on. Of course, I tested it and did all of this early, but yeah, but I have no idea where this chipmunk voice is coming from.
Dave, did you hear me, or DP? Can you?
I heard you, yeah, and we have spoke about it, but Joey is probably the best person to talk about it, to tell the truth. I'll just text him.
Oh, potential collabs. Perfect. Potential collabs.
Yeah,
so
you got it.
yes.
Yeah.
So I've been in, NFTs for a long time, for the NFT world, been in them for a long time. So Ryan, who is Glasgow Grand, he's the other community manager. And he and I kind of got started around the same time, got involved in a lot of the same communities. And so, I can share my wallet or my OpenSea, give you guys hints as to where I'm looking at, but really looking at projects that I've been invested in for a long time. That they're not going to be, your Bored Apes or your CryptoPunks or anything like that, but really projects that I've been passionate about because of the way they're building their community and the success that they've had long term. So I can't necessarily drop them right now because they're not finalized, but yeah, I'm hoping to have those locked in later this week or early next week. Because we're going to do something fun with the commissioner, shutting down the Discord for a little bit, and then opening it up just to the community collabs that we have, and we're really going to focus on there. So everyone who gets in the Discord early is going to get early access, easy whitelist, those type of things. And then we're starting our marketing efforts in full next week. So that's where I said we come from a digital marketing background, so we have a plan there. And I think to DP's point earlier, where he said sometimes you have to deviate, you have to branch from it. So, in project management world, that's risk management, and it's, trying to make sure you're always having a plan B or a plan C. So, if one marketing channel doesn't work, you got to try a different one. And we want this to be organic. So many Discords go out there and buy 5,000 Discord members, or you buy, 2,500. I'm sure you guys see it too. You get inundated with messages and requests where it's, here, also you 2,500 Twitter followers for 0.1 ETH. And it gets tempting but at the same time, it's not real. It's not organic. And so we want to do this by partnering with the communities that we know and that we've been a part of, and the ones that we've been holding on to for a long time. So yeah, they are coming. We have them planned. I just can't reveal them right now.
And I think so. Thank you for that. I think that's big, because again, you can create an artificial demand that really doesn't make sense, right? Because we've seen Discords with 100,000 people. And at any given time, you see 1,000 people in Discord. That just doesn't make sense, right? At some point, it's like, you can't tell me you have 100,000 people that are following you or are invested in this project, and you can't get 500 people to comment or do anything. So the numbers eventually start to kind of show you that they're artificially inflated. So that's refreshing. But then I go back to my point again of saying that if we're going to have real numbers, then we need real people to bring real people, and not just do these crazy challenges of like, bring 50 friends and you can do. First of all, I don't like 50 people. Like it's one of those things that, let's be realistic here, right? Yes, gamify, challenge it. I don't know, Joey, if you heard, we had the challenge or a quick little scavenger hunt just now to find the word on the page, and we kind of had a tie. So we have Nathan that came in, Dave, with grinds on that image of Grindsmith. So on your website, the bottom left image is actually clicks in and shows Grindsmith. So that is actually what is visible. So it's both grind and Grindsmith. They're both correct, because when you see the tile, it cuts off after the S. So you see grinds, which is what they saw. But then somebody clicked into it and saw the full picture and saw Grindsmith. So we kind of have a tie here. So I don't know how you gentlemen would like to proceed with that. But, we might have two winners here for the challenge numero dos. I don't know if Joey can hear us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. So I think I fixed my chip. Okay, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yep, I hear you fine. So the question is that we had a tie for the second question. So
yes.
What say you? So we have two good people here who kind of came in. So we have Nathan with grinds, and we have regular veteran with Grindsmith. I will let you all decide how we shall reward the winners of this challenge. I'm just the guy putting on challenges. Dave, Nathan's giving you the sad eyes.
Right, so we'll give them to both of them.
Some boots.
Both of them.
So we have two winners here as well. What they're going to get, Joey pretty much has said it. So I'm not saying what's been given. I'm just randomly kind of putting things out there, and we're kind of making it fun on the fly here. So we got two giveaways that just got awarded there. So for those that see here, again, 2 free mints as well for you, Nathan, and for you, regular veteran. So make sure that you're able to go to the Twitter page, official, join the Discord. When you jump into the Discord, make sure that obviously you identify. We have your name here, obviously, as well. But make sure you comment, say hello, so we can go ahead and they'll take care of that on the back end as well. as we start to kind of wrap up here, one of the biggest things is we try to keep, we try to really kind of have a quick deep dive here. But I think for sure, having you all jump in kind of impromptu here, I appreciate both of your time and really kind of showcasing this. This again becomes like the first impact of the conversation. We'll have obviously a follow up as we kind of develop more. We'll have a follow up post-mint to be able to talk about these things. But I think this is just an introduction, which you don't see in too many different ways. So I really appreciate both of you all being open and receptive to having this conversation, sharing with others. Again, if you're in this project, what I would say is take this video and share it with somebody, right? Because the best way to actually see something sometimes is to see something. So we understand. I like to do things a little bit on the fly. I like doing lives. I like to be able to just be in the moment because it's no pre-rehearsed questions. Literally the first time Dave and I met is right now, officially here. Same thing with Joey. So we can kind of just give you all the real raw information, but then that shows you that it's not like, hey, we're going to script and say a thing this way, and no, it's like, free conversation, real conversations with real people doing some real things here in the metaverse. So I really just want to appreciate you both for jumping on to our SITREP here, because this is what we need more of, right? That conversation and really just being transparent and making the community a part of it. So by doing it live, having challenges like this and doing something, I think is definitely pretty cool. So we usually do like closing thoughts. So obviously there's a lot of things that folks may want, but hey, jump in Discord, have a conversation, right? This is like almost like the teaser of information that hopefully gets you kind of, interested to jump in and talk and kind of do your own due diligence. But again, support people doing real things. That's what I would say in my closing thought here. There are great projects out there, but sadly we don't know about them because we don't support them, right? So we can try to find someone else to make noise for us, or we can get involved ourselves and also, try to do our little pieces. So every little piece, every little bit helps as these collabs start to come in place and other folks start coming. It's always what you look at that you wish you were a part of. You wish you were part of the OG crew, right? The first ones that were there, right? That know, who you are, and you kind of remember what it was like when it was intimate, and then it grows. So if you're able to get in now, support the cause, jump in, learn something. Again, there's no obligation. Like Dave's not going to get mad like, oh, you could have meant, right? People's situations vary. You might have instances where, like even tonight, there'll be more giveaways, right? Today we gave away 3 giveaways, but there's challenges in there. Maybe you pop into the Discord, say, hey, you saw the live. Again, so for those, we'll work this out, but I'm gonna use my power of DPism because my first name is David, so I'm gonna use a Dave power here for a second, and I'm gonna say that maybe if you're watching this on a replay and you jump into the Discord and you say, hey, I saw you guys, couldn't catch the live, but I'm here. Maybe you might win a giveaway also on the replay. So being here live, you can win something, or even on the replay, come in and say something. So, Dave, what is your favorite color? That will be the question. And if somebody comes into the Discord and happens to say it, they have to have watched it on the replay now. So the live people got to win something, right? So don't go in there right now because we know you're watching it, right? But what is your favorite color that someone can come in and say, hey, I saw the live and I know that Dave Merrell's favorite color is, and you may be entered into maybe some kind of giveaway of sorts.
So what would you say my favorite color?
Mm-hmm.
Blue.
DP, DP, can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Okay, I'll say this. If somebody says that Simon, Theodore, and Alvin sent them, then they'll know that they watched this because they realize I dealt with all the chipmunk issues here. So
that's it. You know what?
Tell them Simon, Theodore, and Alvin sent you.
I actually like that. Dave, do you give a thumbs up for that one?
Yeah.
So yes, that's the catchphrase there. If you watch this on a replay, AKA someone who missed it, and you say, "Hey Jim, you might want to watch this through. There's a secret word in there." Right? If you got to this point, it's who sent you? Alvin, Simon, Theodore. That is the challenge phrase. So again, I really want to make this to where even if you're live, you gain something. Hopefully you learn something. Hopefully, again, everybody's in a different situation, right? Some can mint, some cannot mint, and being able to give a free mint to someone, that could be life changing for someone. You never know. So hopefully, this is something that blesses someone in that capacity. And even if you're watching the replay, there's still something for you, right? So it's always better being live because you get to interact with us and have your name come up. But if not on the replay, it's fine because guess what? We're live in Discord, so you'll see us there. Those are my closing thoughts there. I appreciate both of you for at least obliging me with some giveaways and kind of doing some of that. We'll close with you guys on your thoughts, but Brian, what's some of your closing thoughts? And we'll go to Gino, we'll go to Joey, and then we'll close with Dave on some closing thoughts.
I appreciate it. Just to make it real quick, appreciate Dave and Joey being here. It's exciting to see this project as it's launching and the concept behind it, and seeing the real players behind the scenes is awesome, and your background. So it just inspires some confidence, and we'll just be following it very closely as we go. So everybody keep an eye out, keep watching it, and look for good things to come. Over to you, Southern.
Thanks for being with us tonight, guys. Also, I always tell everyone, join the Discord. Just go in the Discord and have conversation. Meet people. It's great people in the space. Just go in there and have a conversation with people in the Discord. Also, be safe. Never click on a random link. No DMs. The team will never DM you. That's all.
Awesome. Over to you, Joey. Over to you, brother. Can you hear us? We might have lost him.
All right, thanks, guys. Much appreciated. Really, it's all right. Yeah, I think this may be delayed.
That's fine. Any thoughts on your side? Any closing thoughts for those out there watching?
I'm just good.
Over to you, Dave.
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for having us on. Appreciate it. And encourage everybody to go to the Discord and start interacting, and you never know if your ideas could feature in future characters, or the way the universe is going. So there's a lot more to come.
Awesome. So with that, we'll close out. The feed's gonna cut here. We'll stick back for like a minute or two just to kind of just say thank you guys offline. But again, we definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be back again with more. You see the comments. Hopefully you learned something. Definitely gained something. So this is for the community, and more to follow. So we will be back with another episode of NFT SITREP with the MetaVets, kind of hanging out and enjoying your company. Alrighty, let's go ahead and let's see here.